Good day, Internet.
Hey, good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet. Good day, Internet.
Good day, Owen J.J. Stone, a.k.a. O Doctor.
Good afternoon, Internet, and day, too, because day is part of the afternoon.
Yeah. We often run into
smart.
the idea of like day meaning 24 hours means you could use it anytime, or day meaning when the sun's up.
Oh.
You know.
Then good morning, noon, and night,
Yeah.
Internet.
It's still a good day, even at midnight.
I'll get it down. I'll figure it out. I'm working on it.
How's it going?
Tom Merritt, looks like you got a little bit of a haircut.
I got them all cut, Sarah.
I like it. I look good.
Thanks. Yeah, I chopped it right back down. I was like, this hair keeps coming up. Get rid of it. And they said,
Hey.
all right.
Hey.
Yep.
Calm down with your luxurious hair stories, all right? Us bald people don't need to hear your tales
Yeah,
of
Sarah, I
how it
wasn't going to
keeps
call
growing.
attention to it. With Owen on the show today.
How it just keeps growing, and you just got to trim it and tame it down, you know? we get it. You grow hair, Tom Merritt.
Yeah, do I grow hair? Oh, you
It's
don't
your
even know.
It's your show. Don't get me upset, okay? I will walk
out
off
of
the
my nose.
stage.
I feel like I should wear a hat or something now.
Something.
Yeah, Sarah, why are you hair shaming right now?
God, I said Tom looked nice. That's all
How
I did.
dare you?
I refuse to accept any compliments from Tom Merritt. I don't know if you noticed about me, Sarah.
All right,
It triggers
what?
me.
In hindsight, it was poor judgment.
Yeah, it was
What
bad
was that?
form.
thinking.
Yeah. Tom's poor attempt to be bald like me today because he knew I was going to be on the show.
That's
And
right.
he's just trying to-
Doesn't work if we call attention to it.
Now
no,
I
it's
can't.
like
now
a joke. Like the best jokes are the ones that are explained.
That's right.
Right?
That's a principle of comedy. Always explain your jokes. It makes them funnier.
Yeah, like if someone doesn't laugh, you're like, well, hold on, you just weren't
hold on.
listening.
You'll laugh
Here,
if
let
I
me do this
explain.
again.
Yeah.
Let me explain it in
The reason
painstaking
it's
detail
funny-
in order to pull the laughter out of it.
Right.
And mansplaining was born.
Man's first instinct.
Man,
was
first
to
flight
explain.
took board.
pictures
There's a lady on
of
TikTok that does husbandsplaining.
Ah.
And she tries to explain husbands' activities and behaviors to wives. And the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is going to be dumb. I don't know. She's part 10 in the series, and she's been right every time. So
Yeah, I saw one episode of that where the husband put a loose egg on top of the egg carton.
yeah.
And she was like, I was about to freak out at my husband, but I thought to myself, let me ask him why he's doing this first before telling him, why are you just leaving eggs out? And he's like, well, because there were 2 cartons and there was only 1 egg left, and I didn't want it to sit there and take up space, so I put that egg on top.
That was
so
gonna
it
be
was
my
the
guess.
newest egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, I had to explain that so I didn't yell at my husband because I was going to yell at him. Don't
What-
do this, women.
what-
Ask your husband questions. Before you
I'm
yell.
sorry, I missed the very first part of this. Is this a show about?
TikTok.
It's a TikTok series.
Oh,
TikTok
okay.
series about husband explaining instead of man explaining. She explains why husbands do the dumb things they do so
Yeah.
wives don't.
See, I don't think
I
that's dumb. If someone did that, I'd be like, I get it. There was an egg left,
Well,
and there's
the-
no
the-
room for
the-
it in the carton.
Yeah, the premise was that I was watching it and I was expecting it to be dumb, be, trash or whatever, but she was actually correct, and she's on part 10 of the series, and every time it's been like, yeah, that's why we have, that's why we have chair pants, because they're not dirty, but they're not clean,
Oh no, we have chair
and-
pants, or we
and
have
we gotta
pants
keep
that
them
we
off the
drape
floor,
over
'cause-
other pieces
My
of
chairs
furniture.
are wearing pants.
Yeah.
Sofa pants.
Yeah, what's going on with the chair pants?
So,
I don't know anything about that.
You had to be there. It's all commonsensical.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's you don't want to put them in dirty clothes because they're not dirty. They can be worn again, but they're not clean, so you're not going to hang them up in the closet. But you can't put them on the floor because
Wait,
that
you
gets
hang
us in
pants
trouble.
in the closet?
I do, yeah. I
Yeah.
hang everything in the
People do.
closet.
Yeah, there's special coat hangers or hangers just for.
No, I mean
just
the
for
only
pants.
pants I ever hang are like dress pants.
We're not saying
So
you
the
have
pants
to.
in their limbo land are chair only.
But also, you
Yeah.
just said that you do hang pants in the closet.
No, yeah, like just dress pants.
Okay,
Every other
those are
pants goes in
pants.
the drawer.
Yeah.
So clearly, people hang pants differently.
Even Roger
okay?
Chang hangs
No,
pants.
nobody is right or
I
wrong.
We
hang
all
ours
hang
too.
our pants on the same way.
I don't think I hang any pants these days. There's
Actually,
probably
do a lot
some
of-
dress pants,
yeah.
like
I guess
a pair
I
or
also
something
do
in my
like
closet.
suit pants for
Yeah,
if I have a suit.
Yeah, dress pants are all hanging.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
no
look,
okay.
it's Dory LaForge.
So wait, but you're not talking about dress pants, Amos, right? You're
No.
not like wearing dress pants and then being like,
And then wearing them again.
shouldn't put them back in the closet, but they're fine again for this chair tomorrow.
This
Is
is
it like
dress?
jeans?
See, that's the thing
Yes,
about dress
jeans.
pants. You
Okay,
can't really
jeans.
wash. You have to dry clean dress pants.
Well,
So-
you don't have
so-
to, but
I mean,
this
mixed
is why
results.
this is why hive minds are terrible, because the premise of this conversation, the way it started, into what we have devolved into, is pure insanity. It's pure insanity. Now we don't know whose pants are hanging or chairing. Like whose pants? What is
And
the
how
pants criteria?
long do they?
Who
how long
wears
do
the
they
pants
stay
on this
chair
chair?
pants?
So
One
you're,
day.
You're allowed to wear.
no. So
Go ahead.
the rule of
1
thumb
week?
is you
Well,
keep
thumbs
wearing
have to be
pants until they are no longer comfortable, or they're just
How many
Yeah,
times can
I
you,
haven't-
Sarah? How many times can you wear a pair of jeans before washing them?
I mean, I could go a week
Bing.
if I,
Well, there,
if the
if
weather
they're chair
conditions
pants for a
were
week.
correct.
Yeah.
chair pants for a week.
Yeah, if you're
Yes,
not sweating a
five
lot,
wears,
it's nice
5
and-
days.
Yeah.
That's a good average. That's a good number. Five
Yeah.
5 days, 5 wears.
I guarantee you, someone in the audience just now went, "Ugh," at that, and someone else was like, 5. I wear them a lot longer.
I wear them for a month. You have to peel them off me when I'm done.
No, my chair pants usually last 2 or 3 days, and they never exceed laundry. So anytime laundry's done, all the chair pants are gathered up.
How
So
long
it's
do your
usually
chair
about a week.
pants last? Send us an email. Feedback.
I mean, this is also like if you were to say how long could jeans last, if I was like I took a really long walk in a park and it was windy today, I'd probably be like, wash them.
Yep.
There's
This
dirt
is-
around and
This is an
stuff.
averaging question. This is just an averaging.
Yeah, just an
granular.
average question.
5 day
Yeah.
average.
I would-
Somebody in
I would
chat said
say-
5
3
wears,
months.
5 days.
3
I would
months.
say,
on the
yes,
jeans.
I would say
Wow.
weather permitting 5 days is fine. And
Well-
underwear are also involved here, people. If that was not
New
clear.
underwear every time as a barrier,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Of
yes,
course,
yes.
of
There
course.
are no chair underwear.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm sure it
Although,
exists.
if anyone
but you're
out there
not doing it.
listening, please let us know if you have chair underwear.
Feedback at
and how long you can go.
dailytechnewsshow.com.
Now
Well, I
I'm
want you to
free.
know, actually, Sarah.
I'm free balling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
still waiting for the self-cleaning or the never soil pants. The pants that never get dirty.
All right, I gotta go. I can't.
I almost just spit
I
my
know
tea
it's a
out.
pre-show, but
I almost hurt myself.
I cancel. This is already too much. This is
Oh, come
Tom's.
on.
This
You
is
know how
Tom's. It's not you. It's not Amos. It's no one but Tom. It's
Let's
again
be clear.
like you could go out in the world in a physical altercation, get shot 9 times and survive, and then Tom just comes and just that quick little stab under his breath, and then that's what puts it over the edge. I could have survived, but Tom is just that quick. Like, pss, pss, pss. Always throw the extra jab in there.
Was it a jab?
It's
To be
always
fair,
a jab.
Owen
To be
thinks
fair,
it's
that's probably your best pun ever, Tom.
It was a good one. I mean,
Oh, that's the problem that they're good. I'm
right.
I'm
No,
just
he
not
wouldn't
used
care
to-
otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not used. That's why I don't like Tom Merritt.
Owen's like, if they sucked, we just ignore them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes me
Exactly.
feel better.
Owen's smothering in his own jealousy right now is what's happening.
I am used to being the prettiest belle of the ball when it comes to humor, and then Tom comes in pss, 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 all the time with his little stabby moments, and everybody ha-has because Tom's so witty and smart, and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Have you
Yeah.
thought of raising
Maybe the
your
rest
own
of us should
personal
stop
game?
laughing at these things.
We
We
you know?
can't
Maybe
stop
Tom.
laughing
Tom-
because he's too good. That's the problem.
Owen has made a point of coming to my house, spending time with me in
Yes,
order
and
to
his
make
lovely
sure
wife.
that I
My
know
condolences.
just how much he doesn't like this.
His lovely wife, his sister, the dog,
By the way,
everyone.
Eileen says hello.
Mwah. Everyone in that household is lovely, minus the Tom.
Except
Tom is the worst.
Yeah.
Just can't.
Jeez, tough crowd.
You
Oh,
should have seen
Sarah.
him that day when he showed up thinking you were on the show that day and you weren't.
Oh, it was very upsetting, Sarah. I was duped, led astray.
Glad I didn't sleep in
Bamboozled.
all day today.
To be honest, on my part, I never really explicitly said who was going to be on the show. I just
Yeah, I-
wanted to be on.
I know how the setup works. That's how they reel you in.
The long con.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
It
right.
is.
Wait till I get here. I didn't know until I heard. And sadly today, no Sarah Lane. And I'm like, well, I've already introduced myself. I'm committed. I can't just leave the chair spinning.
I appreciate our bond.
That's right.
And yeah, never be on the show without me. I will now in the future be offended if you are.
It's a
exactly.
Contract.
Yeah. I try. You know, sometimes they try to trap me, Sarah. I just tried to let you know how they.
Oh, I know. I know about getting trapped. Think I don't. What do you think, Otis? Did I trap you? He says, no, I trapped you.
He thinks that. Yeah.
I mean,
we got some Microsoft earnings. Were they anything interesting?
I saw that a couple minutes ago.
Revenue up 20%.
People made a bunch of money.
Net income 21%. PC market had a big year thanks to the pandemic. Windows revenue up 25%. I mean, this isn't bad. I'm just saying there's nothing surprising in here.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else you look at today is bad. Like
they said Surface might take a hit this quarter and it didn't. So that, I guess that's the thing where Microsoft was unsure if Surface revenue would be good, but it was still up 8%, which is shocking, but Xbox up 10% year over year.
I would. I don't know. I'd probably save it till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where we can parse it a bit.
Yeah, we could parse it and see if there's anything like dig into it a little more, but there's nothing in these surface numbers because that's not what I meant. There's nothing on the surface of the just a quick glance at this story, and I don't think I see anything worth tearing up.
Now I'm mad at you, Tom. I'm actually mad at you.
Tom's all defensive about his unintentional puns.
he's like, oh, that was clever.
It's not a pun.
See, I've been on a 10-year or now 12-year campaign just trying to let people know what I know.
I assure you that was not a pun.
Yeah, see, it's all cute and games until it strikes you in your home.
Yeah. Ooh, Cardi B just won $4 million in a libel suit.
That's nice.
What like against a
YouTuber named Tasha K.
Oh, this I don't know about.
Yeah.
4 million from a YouTuber? Like that's.
I mean, I would say the YouTuber wouldn't get the money, but I mean, I don't know what kind of. Hey, you never know. Depends on the YouTuber, right?
Like exactly. You
know, if that YouTuber's making a quarter mil a year. That 4 years, you got your money back.
Yeah, and libel, you gotta prove not only was it false, but the person knew it was false and did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was over the whole. She allegedly had robbed somebody or something, and somebody made a TikTok whole thing about it.
List of stuff. Yeah. Well, good for Cardi, my favorite presidential scholar.
Oh,
right.
Presidents!
I forgot that about her. Yeah,
she is. She's a big fan of presidential history.
Yep.
Learned that from Justin Robert Young.
She probably knows more about it than I do.
I didn't mean to kill the mood by saying the word president.
Oh, it's not even that.
No, it's the word history that did it, Tom.
I don't know.
Yes.
If you said like presidential
history,
car wash.
Boo, learning. If there's anything this show is against, it's people learning things.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Aren't you tired yet?
That's our new slogan, helping you not understand.
Helping you misunderstand.
Last week just left a bad taste in my mouth about our current president. So I heard president. I'm like,
oh yeah. No, there's no winning when you bring up the word president.
No, not at all.
Help you anyway.
You know what does make you feel like a winner?
What's that, Sarah?
Listening to Daily Tech News Show.
Well, then we should do an episode of it right now.
I was thinking.
That's a great idea. All right.
Cool.
Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Set.
I'm going to count us in.
Engage.
Here we go. In 3, 2. Coming up on DTNS, Owen JJ Stone is here to help us understand when we can start paying attention to 8K. Is it soon? Plus, NVIDIA may lay down ARM. And Google has an even nicer way of tracking you for ads. This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. In Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Redwood, I'm Sarah Lane.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Joining us, Owen JJ Stone, a.k.a. O Doctor. You can text him right now, 844-986-4563.
That's a real number.
You're giving out that number to everybody. That's so cool.
I like when people say hi to me. Say hi to me and join my revolution against Tom Merritt, where I come on his own show to start a revolution.
This is the problem with Owen.
Now.
I've been doing a newsletter. I'm like, email me and I'll email you. Owen has to big time me and be like, well, you can text me. It's even easier.
You get right to the captain of the ship over here, baby. I mean, Tom Merritt's too big time. I'm still a small fry in the bottom of the bag. You know what I mean? I'm the extra fry in the bottom of the bag. I'm here for you. When you have everything else, you reach back in there, and I'm still waiting on you, brother.
I upset Owen before the show with a heartbreaking pun. You can find out more about that in the long version of the show, Good Day Internet, available at patreon.com/DTNS. Let's start with a few tech things you should know. I was supposed to say. Sorry, Sarah, go.
That's fine. I just wanted to thank a couple of our top patrons first. High Tech Okie, Martin James, and David Mosher.
Why am I so messed up? It's because Owen's here and he got me off my game.
See, Owen?
I'm so happy about this.
It's working.
When Tom messes up, it brings joy to my heart. Oh, it's great.
On this episode of DTNS.
It's already a perfect show. Let's go.
All right, let's start with a few tech things you actually should know. The cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase is adding a new tax center to help U.S. customers figure out how much they may owe the IRS. Oh, what fun. The new section gathers every taxable transaction, showing a personalized summary of a customer's taxable activity on Coinbase, broken out over time by realized gains or losses and miscellaneous income, with the information able to be used with tax software.
Microsoft issued a warning that hundreds of Office 365 customers are getting phishing emails trying to trick them into granting OAuth permission. That would let attackers read and write email, post to their calendar, read and write their contacts. The app that requests the permission is just called Upgrade and appears to come from a verified publisher. So it's kind of hard to detect if you're not paying close attention. Microsoft has deactivated the malicious app in Azure AD. This is a type of attack called consent phishing, which tricks the user just into granting access by clicking OK without having to actually hand over a password.
Signify announced 3 new Philips Hue outdoor smart lights with HomeKit support coming March 1st. HomeKit, among others. The Inara features an Edison-style bulb for outdoor use, $100 for that. The Philips Hue Luca will offer white and color-changing lights, also $100. And then the Resonate wall light will go for $160. All 3 lights require the Hue Bridge and do work with the Hue app, HomeKit, as I mentioned, Google Home, Amazon Service, and Samsung SmartThings. The Hue app will soon offer new candle and fireplace effects for all bulbs as well.
Oh, nice. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki's quarterly update revealed the platform was going to test new ways for YouTube Shorts, which is kind of their TikTok, Instagram Reels type thing, to make money for creators through Brand Connect, and is in the early phases of testing how shopping can be integrated with Shorts. The platform is also looking at ways to support NFTs. Wojcicki continues to defend YouTube's hiding of public dislike accounts, saying the feature was harming parts of the ecosystem through dislike attacks, though she did not specify whether the ecosystem refers to creators or corporations.
The Ethereum Foundation has decided to change the name of Ethereum 2.0 to the Consensus Layer. That part of the network handles smart contracts and network rules, aka the Ethereum 1.0, and will now be called the execution layer. The point of the exercise is to make the transition from proof of work, which uses a lot more power, to proof of stake. Once the new system is ready to replace the old mining system, the 2 layers will merge and go back to being just plain old Ethereum. Hope you were taking notes. The name change will help repent scams that try to imply that there are 2 Ethereum networks being created, which isn't the case.
Yeah, calling it Ethereum 2.0 when it was just going to get merged back was probably confusing, so that makes sense to me. All right, let's talk a little more about NVIDIA. Bloomberg sources saying they might just abandon their attempt to acquire chip designer ARM from SoftBank. That deal was agreed upon in September 2020 and has been awaiting regulatory approval, which may now never come. NVIDIA reportedly told partners it does not expect the transaction to close. SoftBank is reportedly prepping an IPO for ARM, just in case that doesn't happen. So I guess SoftBank's move, if NVIDIA decides to abandon the deal, is to just spin out ARM as a public company. Companies including Qualcomm, Intel, and Google claimed ARM could not maintain independence under NVIDIA and would therefore harm competition. So they were pushing regulatory agencies to prevent the merger. NVIDIA promised to sell ARM licenses to all, but apparently that didn't convince anybody. In October, the EU began an investigation of the deal over competition concerns. The UK began its own investigation in November on antitrust and national security grounds. And in December, the US sued to prevent the merger over concerns it would stifle innovation. So a tall order for NVIDIA to try to surmount. China hadn't even got into it yet. China had expressed concerns and probably would have opposed the merger, but it doesn't even look like it'll get that far. Publicly, NVIDIA is not saying anything yet, still saying it believes the deal provides an opportunity to accelerate ARM and boost competition and innovation. But Bloomberg says writing's on the wall.
I wonder, I know that there is a breakup fee, which is really commonplace in these sorts of acquisitions that don't end up going through. And if this doesn't end up going through, who suffers more here? Is it ARM? Is it NVIDIA? And I mean, I suppose it's, people who care about products from both companies, but it seems like ARM may suffer from this unless there's a really great IPO to be seen in the future.
Yeah. So according to this, real quick, it's NVIDIA paid a fee that SoftBank gets to keep if the deal doesn't go through.
Yeah, which I think is $2 billion, which is not uncommon, because it's sort of like, okay, we all have good faith that we really want this to happen. And if we spend a lot of time and resources and legal fees and it doesn't happen, then somebody walks away with some money. But yeah, I wonder how this might be bad news going forward, because clearly, a lot of folks didn't think it was a great idea.
In the simplest terms, why didn't the argument just have their hands up like this and say, but Apple, could you help us out? Like, we're trying to, we have to make some things happen where they're trying to merge and get together. Like, there's a reason we're going to sell to everybody, because trust me, we need more money. So I don't know. The IPO in this market and this climate, good luck.
Yeah, I feel like my instinct is that SoftBank gets hurt the most by this, because SoftBank was the one trying to cash out. And yes, ARM would have benefited from increased resources from NVIDIA there, but I don't think it hurts ARM as much. And in some ways it may be better, because as the US FTC phrased it, ARM is the Switzerland of the chip world, and this keeps them in that position. Now, if doing an IPO doesn't bring in enough money for them to fuel further innovation and ARM starts to go into a long, slow Intel-like decline, I guess that would be the worst case scenario that I could think of. But I don't think suddenly ARM just collapses overnight. I don't get the sense they're in that bad of a situation. So it's bad from NVIDIA because they're out a couple $1 billion and they don't get ARM. It's probably good for the chip sector in general, because even if NVIDIA was the best behaving possible, it was still consolidation, no matter how you looked at it. And it's bad for SoftBank because they wanted the money.
And if ARM's IPO, or if ARM does fall off for some odd reason, then they could go back later on and be like, hey, well, we're here again if you want to.
Who wants us?
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're trying to buy you now. Like, somebody's going to, either way, it'll be fine. There'll be innovation, there'll be creation. And if they falter, someone will be there to scoop them up, probably at a discount.
Yeah.
Recoup that $2 billion.
But then it becomes who would be allowed? Who would, not even who would be allowed, who would do it after seeing NVIDIA go through all this for more than a year?
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
Well, Google's been in the process of looking for products to replace what we all know as cookies, splitting the difference between privacy, which some people care about very much, and ad tracking, which other people care about very much. Google's first idea was called Federated Learning of Cohorts, or FLoC, that would have added you based on data that Google knew about you into a group of people who had similar preferences. That way, an advertiser would only really know that they were showing an ad to a group of people Maybe Owen and I both like dogs and we both recently bought a car. We might be in the same group there. Tracking IDs would apply to that group, but not the individual themselves. However, there were concerns that Flock could be used to help form a browser fingerprint or otherwise deduce other information about any user. So Edge, Mozilla, Brave, and Vivaldi all declined to implement it in their browsers. Google just announced, okay, we've decided to stop development of Flock and replace it with a new attempt we're calling Topics. In this new system, your browser, let's say you're using Chrome, keeps track of what categories of websites that you're visiting fall into. Sensitive categories like gender or race aren't tracked, but something like team sports or rock fan might be. So might know your music habits, might know what kind of sports you're into. Google says there will be about 350 such categories to start, though that will expand over time to a few thousand. And your browser will keep this categorical data for 3 weeks, and then it'll delete it. It will never be stored on a server, but it will remain local to your device. Google categorized major websites and will also use some in-browser machine learning to determine the categories of other sites going forward. Still in its infancy here. The ad serving side of this works as follows. When you visit a site that supports the Topics API, the browser will look at your top 5 most visited categories from each of the past 3 weeks and choose one from each week at random to share with that site. Maybe I looked at a lot of sports and music things and linen sheets, gets one. The site will then share ads on the page that targets people also interested in those topics. In Chrome, you'll be able to see what topics are in the lists, so you're not in the dark about this, and then you can remove them if you want to. You can also turn off the Topics API altogether if you so desire. Google plans to trial the Topics API starting at the end of this quarter, so pretty soon. And if you're kind of like, nah, still don't like it, do not track me, you're not happy with Topics either. But it does seem like Google is trying to come to a place where privacy-focused folks would feel a little bit more comfortable with this. Owen, what do you think?
I live in a world where I don't care about the cookies anymore. I don't care. You're tracking me and the things are free. If I'm that worried about you tracking my browser history, there's other ways that I can get around doing that. At this point, I don't want to have to click off your topics. I don't have to say, I don't want this topic in my group. I don't really want you serving my topics to people that are my friends. I just want cookies to stay cookies and just go on about your day. I don't need flocks. I don't need topics. I don't like it. I don't like change. I'm a 72-year-old man and I'm grumping on this whole idea. It's terrible. I don't like it. We're against
it. But I mean, it's and it definitely depends on how you use the internet, but there was a day where we all complained about ads, just ads, stupid ads everywhere. Most ads that I see now are targeted toward me, and sometimes it's pretty obvious why. Oh, I just looked at that website, and now it's in my Facebook feed. But sometimes it's a little bit more like, why am I in this? How'd they get me here? And so I feel like this is Google's way of kind of saying, we're not trying to target you that specifically, but if you're interested in how this is working, here's how it's working.
Again, I rebuttal with the grumpy old man. I don't trust it. You know what bothers me most about tracking, right? I buy a watch. They know that I went online. They know that I bought this watch. For 92 days, I see the ad to say, buy this watch. And I'm like, I already bought this watch. So unless Topics allows me to click off of that one thing and say, stop showing me that, which I've already spent my money on. Okay, if it does that.
It actually would do that. It actually would do that, Owen, because it wouldn't have the cookie that tells them you bought the watch. And it would look at your recently visited sites and notice like, oh, he hasn't been going to watch sites anymore. He must have bought the watch. Let's show him something else.
As a 72-year-old man, I have learned things on this planet. I have revised my position. I am not ignorant. I am all for Topics. Give me Topics today.
Yeah, I think what I like about it is that you can just turn it off if you don't like it, and it knows less about you than cookies. However, if you're coming at it from the other side of I don't want it to know anything about me, will this prevent that? No. There's certainly ways people could use it, but they do make it very difficult to build a profile of you, because this isn't even identifying you as part of a group. It's just saying when you go to the website, oh, if you want to show an ad, here are 3 topics you could show ads for. And it won't be the same three topics every time you visit that site, right? It'll change because it's random every time. So that makes it harder to build a profile around people. But of course, what's more secure? just first party ad that says, oh, I'm at a site that sells watches. Maybe advertise the watch to this person, and don't advertise the watch if I'm not at a site that sells watches.
I mean, I complained myself back into it, so I'm fine now, and I'll give it a try. I just didn't want to have to do anything else. I'm already mad when I got to accept cookies. Like you're making me do work. I came here to
get rid of that too. You wouldn't have the cookie stuff anymore because they wouldn't be setting cookies anymore.
I mean, that alone is worth the price of admission.
I am back on board. We are flocking and grouping and tagging and all the things.
Topics.
So
topics.
As Google ends their flock, Twitter begins one. Input Magazine reports that engineer Alessandro Paluzzi found code in the Twitter app describing a close friends feature. If you've noticed, Instagram has a close friends feature that lets you share stories with a list of people that you create instead of just to anybody who follows you. Twitter shared design concepts for a similar thing they were calling trusted friends last July, but Paluzzi just found a description in the code that calls it Twitter Flock, although this one's spelled Flock. It says you can add up to 150 people to a flock. You can keep it just 2 if you want, but you can have up to 150. When you post to your flock, only those people in your flock will be able to see you and reply to your post. People will not be notified if they're removed from your flock, so they'll just stop seeing those and they'll never notice otherwise. Paluzzi also found a label on posts that says, you can see this tweet because the author has added you to their flock. So they will know if they're seeing a post because they're in your flock, but they won't know if you remove them. Twitter told The Verge that flock is a placeholder name, but it didn't share any more news about the feature.
It would seem like a pretty obvious one if that was the name at the end of all of this. But okay, whatever flock ends up being, in concept, I like this. This is not how I use Twitter. I figure anything that I say on Twitter, it's like you're either going to get it or you're going to like it or you don't, or you see it later and it doesn't apply to you, and that's fine. It's the Wild West. But Twitter is trying, and with a rollout of lots of different products, has been trying to be much more of a focused way to use a social network as, a place for news, a place to talk to friends, the DTNS, we could have our own flock, or that sort of thing. Stuff that a lot of other companies have already offered services for. A lot of the stuff that Twitter talks about, I still want to know, what team out there is like, yep, Twitter's suite of services are the way that we go. And because it seems a little bit too late as far as Twitter goes, but I don't know. It's always good to give people options where, for example, I have a group of friends who have their Twitter accounts locked. I mean, they can say that it's okay that I follow them and then I can see their tweets, but it kind of breaks the service overall. So this seems like some sort of a bridge between the two.
Show title, Grumpier Old Men. I mean, I tweet the way that I tweet, and at some point, I got to click through 92 levels of things. I've got to select now who can reply, don't reply. I've got to put in a poll. My location's off. My location's on. Draft, not draft. Like, I go there to be grammatically incorrect, say the dumbest thing possible, and hope that it catches fire and 1 million people retweet it, okay?
Yeah.
That's what Twitter is for. And again, like you said, too little, too late. You're trying to throw all this garbage into the kitchen sink at me now when I'm here because guess what? I could cultivate my own group. I'm only following like 600 people. You know what I mean? Those are the people that I need to hear and listen to. If you want to be willy-nilly and follow 150,000 celebrities, that's on you. If you want to, again, the only thing I heard that was great about that is if you have a group of people that listen to your podcast or your show or they're influencers maybe, and you want to say, hey, we got this new product. You guys get to see it first or something like that. Cool. I guess throw it in there because Twitter's going to do what they want to do. But at the end of the day, it's just too much stuff in my Twitter. Now I got to be a Twitter Blue. I got to the premium. You should have been
You don't have to do any of that stuff, right?
Tom, I have to do it all because once they put it in there, it's like drugs. I got to try it. It's free. You know what I mean? It's a gateway drug. I got to try it, baby. That's how they get you.
The thing I'll say in defense of Flock would be like the old Twitter. People talk about, man, it used to be you could just talk to your friends on Twitter and you didn't have all these random people coming in because it didn't have that big of a user base. Flock would let you simulate that. where you could just be like, here are the people I want to talk to. Sometimes I want to talk to the entire world, but sometimes I want to say something and I don't need everybody jumping in because they're not going to get it.
iMessage.
Yeah.
iMessage. Sorry.
I mean, honestly, that's the problem, right? That's where I end up back where you are, Owen, is like, but people don't use Twitter for that. So they use group chats, they use Telegram, they use Signal.
But also
WeChat.
there are people that I'm friends with on Twitter, not as the only social network, but Twitter as an example, where I'm like, I don't really even know their number, or like putting us, the 5 people that I think would like my tweet on a group chat would seem a little strange because we're already on Twitter. That's where this kind of thing comes into play. How much this would replace group texts, I don't know.
Yeah.
The last question. Will others be able to see that you created a flock? Like, will they say, oh, Sarah's created 2 flocks. And I'll tell you what, if I'm not in those flocks, I will be offended. This is a verbal contract that I will be included in your flock, Sarah.
I will get the sense that you only create one flock, though. So if you want bigger stuff, you get communities, and you do a community.
That's when you go to Twitter Blue and you get an extra flock. You got to pay $4.99. You get a bonus flock. You get 2 flocks.
So many flocks. Well, hey, folks, if you would like more DTNS, you're like, I don't need more flocks, but I want more DTNS. Nikki Ackerman's Dr. Nikki has the latest installment of her Scientist in Tech miniseries out. She interviewed a researcher who uses drones to help map out ancient Pueblo archaeological sites. And if you're like, where do I find that? Right here in the DTNS feed. Check out this past weekend and listen in. It's really good. Enjoy.
All right, 4K is the current standard for high-def video, whether you're talking about displays, you're talking about content that's going onto an eventual display. But 8K offers a pretty big jump in resolution. In fact, it's like going from 1080p to 4K, 4K to 8K. Now, everybody who listens to DTNS has certainly heard of 8K, but for many of us, still too pricey, kind of hard to find, the good stuff. So when will 8K be necessary? And will it be necessary? Owen, you're here with us, so we're going to put you in the hot seat to tell us all about how you as a photographer feel about 8K and how it needs to be embraced by the greater human race.
So, as you heard earlier, I'm a man of strong convictions until I get instant feedback that turns my mind. But previously, I just bought a camera to do work, and I was like, I only need 4K. I don't need 8K. Nobody displays in 8K. Nobody really uses 8K. I don't need it. And I spent $5,000 on a camera. And then 3 weeks later, a new 8K camera came out, and I just was like, I think I need 8K. Now, displays are really expensive. No one's streaming 8K or anything yet, but I'm like, do I have FOMO? Am I missing out, like, on the future? Should I future-proof myself? And that's what I told myself. I need to future-proof myself.
Well, and that I think a lot of people feel like, well, okay, if we're going in this direction, that's if you got the cash, future-proofing is a great way to upgrade some of the things that you really care about. But as far as the person who is watching in 8K, right now, if you're shooting in 8K with your really nice camera and you'd like somebody to reap the rewards of that, I mean, how many people are really doing so?
No one is reaping the rewards unless you're at the Comcast building and you've got 42 screens and there's a 3D lion coming out of the wall. No one is actually really reaping the benefits of it. And that's sad. Also, you could barely get true 4K streaming. I tried to upgrade YouTube to 4K. I didn't see any difference. I downgraded. It doesn't matter. This show right now, people watch you and love you, and we're probably in 720p or 1080, and people have no problem with it on their phone. So it's not even that you can even use it in most circumstances. But I do have a situation where 8K is super viable and could work really well for a lot of people.
All right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not good enough for my TV. It's not good enough for my YouTube. What is it good for then?
So I had to shoot an interview of a cast for a play, and there were 10 people. And I was like, all right, I'm going to set up 3 cameras and run all this stuff. And I realized that one of my cameras is 8K, though I never use it. I shot in 8K, and I turned out each person's frame would be 1080. So I could punch in to 1080 from the 4K resolution.
Just gives you more options later.
Yes, and that's where it works out because you can up-res 1080 to 2K, which is basically fake 4K, and it looks really good. And I'm like, that is a good reason to use 8K just for the zoom in crop factor. You know, when people like to punch it on the YouTube videos, you actually zoom right into an eye and it'll still be crispy. So that's the only value and reason I found to use 8K, because also the media that it eats up is tremendous, and you've got to be a rich person to shoot more than 10 minutes right now. It's just insane. Yeah. But that's a good reason. That's a really good reason I found.
I think that's a really good point, a reminder that when we talk about these new technologies, sometimes we just focus on one use, like, 4K. It's just a marketing term to get me to buy a new TV. Maybe, and probably it will be used for that, but that doesn't mean that it's the only use for 8K, because what you're describing is not an end user benefit, but a creator benefit. For somebody creating content, 8K might be really important because when costs get a little cheaper, it simplifies things.
Yep. And you can always scale down and punch in and do things like that. Like when you watch the movies and they're always like, enhance really isn't a real thing, but now there's enhance. Like if I just need to get down to 720, I could put 16 of them on the screen. You know what I mean? So that's the best benefit. That's what I talked myself into spending more money, and I justified it to myself. I said, what if I needed to talk to 10 people all the time and they need their own screen? That's how I convinced myself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really, really good point, that as a creator, you have so much more leeway because you just have these huge files that, sure, I mean, maybe my eyes can't even see 8K, but the fact that there's going to be no discernible artifacts that I will also see with my naked eye, you know, being able to take advantage of this. But is there a situation where I'm tired, it's the end of the night, I'd like to watch an 8K movie. Is it at all worth it at this point?
No, it is not, because all you're going to get is buffering errors if you did have an 8K TV and you try to stream it to look at it.
And there's no content.
And again, the difference to what you're saying, even still, like that's why the phone, the screen, the resolution doesn't even matter. The screen's so small, you're happy with what you're seeing at 1080 or anything like that. People, 90 hertz, like you can't really tell the difference. I can give you 10 phones. It's hard for you to pick it out unless you're playing a game. So your eyes can't tell the difference. And your screen at home isn't big enough that 4K to 8K, you're going to be like, oh, that's definitely 8K. 4K looks pretty dang good when you got true 4K coming through and you're watching like the Animal Planet on Blu-ray or something. Like I don't in my mind, I don't know how it could get any better. So now we're at a standstill of the value of what your brain can consume and realize, I believe. I mean, if you want 8K, look with your own eyes. Don't look at the screen.
4K
open the front
enabled
door.
HDR to work really well. So 4K was handy for a reason that didn't have anything to do with resolution. Maybe something comes along like that with 8K, but we don't know it. We don't see it yet.
Yeah. 4K is pretty perfect right now.
Well, John Lennon, you may have heard of him. He has a couple of sons, and his older son, Julian, is selling memorabilia from his father's personal collection as NFTs. Examples include a black cape from the film Help, handwritten notes by Paul McCartney for the Beatles song Hey Jude, things that, if you were a collector, you might be pretty interested in. But the physical items themselves not being auctioned off. These are NFTs that are audio-visual collectibles of each item, with Julian Lennon himself narrating the story behind each piece.
Okay. All right. I was like, if you're into NFTs, obviously, maybe you're into this. If you're not into NFTs, you're going to scoff at this just like you would anything else. But adding in the narrated story behind the piece, kind of a nice touch. I like that. A little added value.
And the physical item, not being sold off somewhere. Like if it ended up like in a museum one day.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't mind being like, the biggest thing about NFTs when you say, oh, it's just art. I wouldn't mind being one of the 10 people that have a digital ownership of the Mona Lisa and it's sitting in the Louvre for the next billion years.
Yeah.
At least I got my little piece of the Louvre, so that's neat.
All right, let's check out the mailbag.
Let's do it. This one comes in from Jeff, who wrote in based on our discussion yesterday about waste heat and the idea of trying to more efficiently use heat and not waste it. Jeff says, I saw an article over the weekend about using waste heat for additional power generation via the thermal electric devices. I'd be excited to see when these types of developments are able to make it down to the consumer level of products. For instance, having thermal electric devices on solar panels could increase panel output by transferring heat buildup on the face of the panels into liquid coolant or disperse it via radiators under the panels. Another potential location in homes could be flue gases from water heaters or furnaces. Those with cooling loads could possibly have these on their AC compressors or even on the outside of the house. Power plants could efficiently utilize this technology, but also things like data centers. Jeff finishes off with, as the joke from James S.A. Corey made when asked, when do the spaceships in the Expanse universe, what do the spaceships in the Expanse universe run on? They replied, efficiency.
Yeah. No, these are good. These are good examples. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that.
Thanks also to our brand new bosses, Thomas Taylor and Wayne Dernancourt. Both just started backing us on Patreon. Yay, you're our new bosses of the week. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Wayne.
Man, we make a big deal when we get a new boss. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah. Standing O. Also, standing O to Owen JJ Stone. Oh, Doctor, always good to have you on the show. Let folks know where they can keep up with everything you feel about 8K and otherwise.
I'm at IQMZ.com, Doctor on everything. I'm currently building my flock, so the first 150 people, you automatically get put in a flock. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm out here in these streets.
Well, we're so happy to have you on the show today. Please come back soon and early and often. Reminder to... Yeah, hearts. We're live on this show Monday through Friday. We hope you heart our show every day. That's 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 21:30 UTC. You can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. We'll be back doing it tomorrow with Scott Johnson. Talk to you soon.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
You have enjoyed this program.
Fantastic. Good show.
This show is such a well-oiled machine, and here I am just throwing water all over it, messing up stuff.
That was good. It's good. We had several compliments in the chat. People were like, "That was a good conversation." And who was it that said who pointed out that flock is kind of like Google circles? Is that who?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, if they allow you to do more flocks, although Twitter communities is also like Google circles. Hey, title the show. What do you want us to call the show? Tell us. Showbot.tv/DTNS2. If you're in Discord or watching on Twitch, let us know right now. Hurry up. Don't delay.
Get on it.
Yeah. You have an assignment. Do it.
What are you waiting for? Act now.
Yeah. Before it's too late. And we've already given the show a title. Do it now.
It could definitely be too late.
There's lots of arm puns in there, so get in there. Make it happen.
I saw people complimenting your haircut,
Yep.
And the Discord, the Discordians.
Appreciate it. And my barber David appreciates it as well.
Good job, David.
Yeah. Wasn't supposed to have David. I was supposed to have Rob. And Rob wasn't there, so I tried David. David did a great job.
My hair stylist she's given me literally a year of advance warning, but she's going to be phasing out of the area that I live in.
Oh, I just like when that happens.
And the thing is like, it's not that, I mean, I have long hair. You just cut, trim off an inch. It's not like it's that hard. I can find somebody to do her job, but she's so good at it, and she's so nice, and I really enjoy our time. It's like fun to sit in the chair and
it talk.
That's part of the fun of getting a haircut.
You build a good rapport. Long are the days since I had the barbershop joy in my heart.
You can get your beard.
You get a beard trim.
Yeah.
Me and Amos got the same barber now. It's just us grizzly bears wandering through the woods to find a sharp rock and sit by a lake and peel it back ourselves because we don't get that joy anymore. I mean, I could get my beard done. I do occasionally when I want to feel fancy. Yeah, I'm going somewhere special. I do go see the barber and get it all fluffed out properly and all that kind of stuff.
That was the one thing. Robert, my regular barber, usually gives me the full on straight razor and everything. I didn't have David do that. Well, we don't know each other like that yet.
you're not ready for the razor on the neck.
The only person I let give me a straight razor was an old barber. I think he probably still worked. They called him Pops. He was the dad of the barbershop. And he was so old, but man, his hands were steady as a rock.
Yeah.
And them young boys would come out with a straight razor. I'm like, oh, back up. Back up. No, put that thing away.
Let's give that a minute.
Yeah. There's something uneasy about that feeling. That first feeling. Oh, that's dangerous lifestyle right there. You want a little thrill? Let's put a razor.
Isn't
next
it
to your
also
neck.
like it's a scene in lots of movies where it's like,
High tension.
where all the, it's like scrape, and all of a sudden someone's like, "Hello, John," and you're like,
Yep.
"Oh no!"
Yep.
Oh, and here I am.
Yep. And
feeling so vulnerable.
And that little stop thing where they just get that little trickle of blood, that's what happens.
Yeah.
When you're going and you stop, it's easy just to have enough pressure.
Yeah.
Because those things are sharp, boy. That's good moving right there. It's high flute
my
tension.
barber is always playing movies up on the wall. And so I'm like, please don't be playing anything exciting. No Avengers Endgame. Well, we're
that's not when you want NFL playoffs on.
yeah, right.
So I have the black barber experience where we don't worry about excitement. We worry about good content, because if the wrong person comes into the shop or the wrong part of a movie comes into the shop, my 30-minute haircut instantly turns into a 45 hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember back in '88 when John Johnson, I was like, oh, could you just cut my hair? Mute the TV and cut my hair. We've all seen Denzel do this part. We know what's going to happen. But we all had to stop and enjoy the musings of Denzel Washington.
But would you have it any other way, really?
I mean, I have no choice. And now I do have a choice. I don't have to get my hair cut anymore. But I would suffer because that's part of the experience, hanging out and talking stuff like I do when I come and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, we're basically the barbershop of tech news without the barbering.
Exactly.
We're just the shop.
Yeah. Remember
Tech
when
news shop.
old Fuzzy Pants used to come in, talk tech?
Not to be confused with chair pants.
See, Sarah? I let him hang himself there. You see that? I gave him a pause.
I wasn't going to help him either.
Today, Tom's off his game. Today has been a great day for me and my brand.
It's my gift to
Tom,
you.
You must be very tired.
Yeah.
He must be.
Just kind of.
No, this is how much I love Owen. I'm giving him this horrible day of mine.
He's going to get off and look at his wife and be like, I did it for him.
Yeah.
He needed a win.
He appreciated it.
I know better. I know what's going on. Set up.
Man. Yeah. Well, I know it's a little late for a Christmas present, but
yeah, that's how you get me back on the show. I understand. And I guess what? I'm falling for it every second.
It's not too late for a Valentine present. That would be very nice. Right. Yeah. Like who's captured my heart, Owen? It's you. That's wink, Tom talking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I got that. Because Otis would be
you.
the answer if it was you.
It's less exciting when it's Tom.
If it's me, Owen's like, whatever. Yeah. Next.
No. It was you over Tom. You said Tom, and then you just ruined it all. I was all for it. And then you said Tom, and I was like, I guess I'll accept it.
What is Apple CEO Tim Cook allegedly threatened by armed woman?
What?
County of Santa Clara gained a temporary restraining order against a woman in Virginia who Apple says has been stalking Tim Cook since 2020.
Oh, wow. She's on a mission.
Erratic, threatening, and bizarre behavior. She entered his property in Palo Alto before being stopped by police. Wow.
I like the erratic threatening. Not the consistent threatening, the erratic threatening.
If it was orderly threatening, well, it's not as bad, but it was erratic.
You just can't.
There was a comma.
You never know when she's going to be.
There was a comma, erratic, comma, threatening, comma, and bizarre.
I just thought she just showed up on Tuesday and then Friday. Like, come on, keep it consistent. Most creepos are consistent. You got to be consistent.
Oh man,
I couldn't imagine getting in Tim Cook's house. I would imagine the security has like laser beams that come out of the grass and like robotic dogs are just roaming the property where he lives.
Oh no! What if it was like Home Alone and it's just like just like very simple, like a paint can on a rope that he swings down, and a bucket full of apples just fall on the assailant.
Series like
shooter.
Someone might be in the house. I don't know. It's not my job. I mean, you can check it out if you want to, or you don't.
Or it's all the Apple technology that they've never brought, like that just couldn't make it to market or decide to cancel. But they're like these super sophisticated robots that come out of the wall.
That's what I would assume. I would assume he'd have like robot Apple ninjas or something that just sprung out of the lawn.
But they're all managed through iCloud, so you just wait for it to go down, and then you walk
What if they created like a Tim Cook like Android, and it's just an army of Tim Cooks that surround the like I want to destroy you, and then boom, take the assailant down. No.
Someone should make that an anime short. That would be a great anime short. Robo Cooks. Part 4.
You're gonna get cooked by Tim.
That's a 1980s action film waiting to happen. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as the criminal assailant.
Yeah, I'm already.
I just don't know how he get his house.
VHS lines as I'm watching that.
Yeah. Hopefully she gets some help because she just seems like she might have other issues at play. If you're going after Tim.
Yeah.
I don't.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't see this anywhere.
It's on CNET.
That's
where I saw it. Just 22 minutes ago. CNET's the only one reporting it.
CNET's in my feed, Lee.
Well, and San Jose Mercury News is where CNET's passing it along from. But yeah, CNET's the only.
Maybe it's just considered a local story until
San Jose.
I mean, if something were to have happened, then
it looks
would
like
be a
this
big
is
story.
it's coming. The Mercury News discovered that there was this restraining order, so there's not an incident. It's just that the restraining order got issued, and the Mercury News found it when they were doing their normal. Let's look through all the court stuff and see if there's anything interesting.
Find a story.
Otis says, I like to give people their space. Except my mom. She doesn't get any.
You don't want space from Otis.
There was a time where I was like, wow, is this dog really going to give me no personal space? And now I'm like, if he didn't, I'd be like, don't you love me?
Yeah, where'd you go?
This is what works for us. Yeah.
Well, Django, when the first week we had Django, I was in between jobs, and she would just come up and stare at me, and I'd be like, "What? What do you want? We went outside, we played, I fed you. Like, what's left?"
Yeah,
it's
like
puppy,
pressure,
right? So she was just like, "What? What do we do now?" And then, of course, years later, she would go out all day with the dog walker, come back tired, like just go in the other room and lay down, and we'd be like, "Where'd you go? Do we even have a dog?" Like, yeah.
It is a weird balance. Like I have a pit bull and she's 3. I got a bike so I could run her because walking wasn't doing it. Mark was not doing it.
Especially
and I'm
when
like,
they're young like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't, like, and their pit bulls are already so needy. I'm like, stop looking at me. We already did everything and I'm done. And now some days I'll be like, same thing. You're like, hey, what's going on? The dog's like, I'm not doing it because if I come over there at some point, you're going to make me leave. And so today is not the day for you.
I'm not falling for this again.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I made the mistake of going. I started doing nightly walks before I go to bed at night, just down the block a little bit, and taking Kai with me. And it's night. There's hardly anybody out there. Well, there's nobody out there, but there's occasionally a car or whatever. But Kai's well trained, so he heals and everything else. So we go out there, and he's off leash. He's just wandering around sniffing all the sniffs and all that. And then last night it's been raining, and he just got a bath. So I was like, I don't really feel like taking him out and letting him get muddy and stuff like that. And sure enough, as soon as I started getting dressed, he was like all ready to go. And then as soon as I came back, he just sat there and like huffed at me about 5 times, looking at me from across the room.
Like, why would you have left me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you care?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the post office here shortly, and I know Ray is just gonna lay by the door the entire time I'm gone.
Is she a good car dog? You could take her.
She is. It's a little warm here today to be doing that. I mean, it's not hot or anything, but
nice for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can't take her in the post office with me, so
Yeah. I mean, when I go to the post office, which is probably going to be pretty often until I figure out my mailbox situation. I mean, if I didn't take Otis, it would just be cruel, because he would just be like, he loves the car.
Uh-huh.
I'm only in there for a minute. It's not that warm. He's in the parking lot and just like so excited to be like, we're doing errands. Loves errands.
Loves being in the car. Sawyer hates the car. He loves going places once we're there, but when he's in
not
the car,
enjoying
he just lays down in the middle of the back seat and is just like, tell me when it's done.
Every dog I've ever owned was fine in a vehicle. This dog, any more than 20 minutes, and she gets sick all in the car. So anytime I want to take the dog anywhere, I can't feed her for like 24 hours or drink. I can't give water, nothing, because it's just sick. Anything in the stomach comes up. So I've got to like starve out the dog, take the dog to wherever we're going, feed her just a little something so that she's not like sniffing at the kitchen wherever we're at, and then make the trek back home again on an empty stomach and then feed her. Because otherwise it's just like
too much.
Can't take her anywhere. And I'm like, oh, I've tried every other thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I tried like giving her the whole seat, the floor, the thing. Like I tried all the tricks, and so this is the first dog I've ever had that just gets car sick.
Yeah, I some friends of mine have a dog who's the same way, and it's really kind of an issue. It's not that they don't want to take the dog; they just are like,
At least Sawyer doesn't
not having
get
a good
sick.
time
He's
either.
just miserable. But I had some friends who had a Weimaraner that was like that, where it'd throw up in the car. And it's like, well. On that happy note, let me announce that our new Patreon loyalty merch is available. If you stay at the highest levels for 3 months, you can go to patreon.com/DTNS to see which levels have these. You might get a sticker or a mug or a tote bag or a hoodie with Lem Peralta's DTNS logo on it. And there's one with just the logo, and then 3 months later you get the one with Sarah. 3 months later you get the one here I've got in my hand with Roger on it. So it's just our little way of thanking you for sticking around. We'll send you some merch every 3 months.
Yay!
And I'm getting the new stuff. It looks really good. Thanks to Patreon for managing that stuff. Also, thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon. We are down. It's that first of the year. Everybody's starting to cut back pledges, so we are down patrons on the month. So we're very, very pleased with everybody who becomes a new patron and everybody who's able to bump up and give us a little extra. We really appreciate that. Big thanks to everybody on Twitch who supports us there. We have a new follow from View Seeker. We've got bits from Zoe Brings Bacon and Loki Robert, Aldi LDL and Psycho Motors. Neck Guy Green, 32nd month, sending us more Prime bucks. Bodgers SJ, 16th month. Gadget Virtuoso, 12th month. Gotham Heights, 10th month, writes how many days until spring? And we even got Len Peralta rating us earlier. Thank you, Len. Good to see that as well. That's going to be all for us except for the title. Let's look at the title, shall we? Top 3 vote getters for DTNS. BioCow, What the Flock, with an L. Batfink 2001, NVIDIA, Do No Arm, because they want to acquire it, so it would be doing no ARM. And GPEG 84, ARM is the Switzerland of the chip world.
We went with Stealth Dave, with a little modification from Tom. 8K, what is it good for right now?
All right.
Absolutely.
Perfection. GDI, top 3 vote getters. Batfink 2001, Tom bringing out the big puns, which is a pun on guns. BioCow, there are no chair underwear. And Zoe Brings Bacon, always explain your jokes.
We went with Stealth Dave again with his chair pants submission. Chair pants. Just call it. Yeah. No, that's perfect.
Just keeping it simple.
Yeah, I like it.
It's what, it's what cheerleaders wear. Chair pants.
Right. I think I found myself a cheerleader. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. Thank you, Owen JJ Stone.
Thank you.
Please come back.
If Sarah's here, I'll be here.
Talk to you, everybody. Have a good day.
Good day.
Good day. Internet.